What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're here for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. We have 2 realistic rebuilds left until we get into the 2027 NFL draft, where we need to wait, and we're going to let the draft happen. And then I'm going to take the exact rosters post-draft, post-free agency, and we're going to run it back again. But for our first run of realistic rebuilds, Todd Monken taking over as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. This is where we're at. This is a team that is not, they're the Browns, you know? It's kind of where we're at. They are coming off a season where, the quarterback play was bad, but you had the hype of Shedeur Sanders. Quinshon Judkins, as soon as he hit the field, looked like there might be something there. There might be a successor in place for Nick Chubb. No more David Njoku, but you have a tight end successor. It feels pretty good about Harold Fannin Jr. going forward. Jerry Jeudy, there might still be something there. But the big news on the defensive side of the ball is, Carson Schweitzer was incredible, but 23 sacks, a new single-season sack record for the Defensive Player of the Year there in Myles Garrett. How they have been able to convince him to stay and buy into their plan, buy into their rebuild is incredible. As, I just feel any team would have paid the salary cap the Browns paid for Myles Garrett. The fact that he just keeps coming back, I don't know what it is. You guys got a stranglehold on him. But my goal here in the next 5 years, through realistic draft classes, is to reward that loyalty with Myles Garrett and bring him a Super Bowl. Now, I actually have a note here. We did our first Browns rebuild. Myles Garrett retired at the end of year 2. I've seen plenty of rebuilds where Myles Garrett is playing until year 5, like the whole rebuild. I'd say more often than not he is. I had him retire. Maybe it was just the worst retirement role of all time. Hopefully that is not the case here today. As we take a look at this roster, post-free agency, where it stands right now, no one really knows who the starting quarterback's going to be. Some insiders say Shedeur Sanders has the advantage. Others think Deshaun Watson's going to get a first swing at it. It's not a great spot. No other way really to break it down. Quarterback room is a horrific mess. You look really at the offense as a whole, I would say, there's not if I'm looking like who's going to be here year 5, who are these cornerstone pieces that we're going to be able to count on for this whole rebuild? And it's all right, I think we probably can get Judkins to develop into a guy. Jerry Jeudy, I think if we can make him like a high-end wide receiver too, that would work out. Harold Fannin at tight end should be something. The offensive line doesn't look terrible right now. Got to figure out that left tackle spot. But like Zion Johnson, Elton Jenkins, Tevin Jenkins, and they made that trade with the Houston Texans to bring over Titus Howard. Like, that's a serviceable offensive line. But in terms of who's going to be here when the rebuild counts, like maybe what's Johnson, 26? Maybe Zion Johnson. Other than that, this is probably going to be, unfortunately, a rebuild. We're going to have to use some investment here on the big uglies, which is exactly what the Browns need to do. When the Browns have had competent play, they've always had one of the best offensive lines in the league. We got to get back to that. Defensively, hopefully Myles Garrett doesn't retire. That would be pretty big win for us in this rebuild. I think if we could also make maybe Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell go the whole rebuild. Grant Delpit's kind of on the line. Schweitzer and Mason Graham. You might be able to also even throw Michael Hall in there. There are some players. Ronnie Hickman's on the right side of 25, almost an 80 rate. Like, there are plenty of pieces on this defense. I'm not worried about the defense. Browns defense has been good. The only unfortunate thing we are going to do to start the rebuild is one of our most promising players from the roster, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. 26, 83, perfect scheme fit, unreal linebacker. Look at those stats. Does seem like he's retired. Does seem like he is not coming back. So to make this rebuild, as we always like to do, a little more challenging, we are going to move him to punter. And for lack of better terms, we are going to retire him. With that move, it makes a little bit more of a value, getting Quincy Williams, stealing him away from the Jets. More of a veteran win-now player, but great cover. And I think him and Schweitzer could be more than solid enough to start for us at linebacker at year 1 of this rebuild. Taking a look at the current mock draft, final mock draft, we are currently expecting to go Ruben Bain, put a pass rusher on the other side of Myles Garrett, which isn't a terrible idea if you're looking at where we need to get better across the board. However, we're just, I don't know. I'd say if I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns, we got pick 24 as well. this is a team that the defense has been great. The defense is screaming for the offense to pull their weight here a little bit. So if I'm looking at this as a final mock draft, I'm shifting my attention a little more to the offensive targets. Like I'm seeing Carnell Tate at number 10. He could be in play. I'm seeing, maybe get a little creative and leapfrog the Eagles. Kadyn Proctor is a very popular name that make a lot of sense in the 20s for the Cleveland Browns. I think this might need to be, if we go offense, double dip on offense. Our pick situation, pretty good because of the Jacksonville Jaguars trade a year ago to get Travis Hunter. We have pick 6, pick 24. We have our own pick in the second round. So I'm really looking at these first 4 picks kind of all need to be hits. So up first, pick 6 in the first round. No trades down. So I think with where we're stuck right now, I mean, Carnell Tate right now is kind of the popular pick. I haven't really used him a whole lot on the rebuilds. And of all, we have an issue with this draft class. If you've watched my rebuilds, that wide receivers fall to the second round. He's the one that doesn't. Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, 50-50 chance that they're going to be there within the top 5 picks of the second round. Carnell Tate does go in the first round, which makes me think, as a legit round 1 talent, feel pretty good. There is still a side of me that's like, man, Ruben Bain would be insane to put on the other side of Myles Garrett. But there's always so many sacks that can go around. We have our pass rusher. How this defense needs to be built from a roster construction standpoint, you probably don't need 2 elite pass rushers. You get Myles Garrett, and then you find like a value pass rusher. However, if we get effed over and Myles Garrett retires early, I'm going to probably regret not taking Ruben Bain here. I'm going to go, we're going to go with the fun. We have to go offense. So we're going to go with the fun option here. Carnell Tate at pick 6, the consensus wide receiver 1. I don't think that's due to his ceiling. I think it's due to his floor. And the floor is something that Browns fans can get excited about. This floor is a 1,000-yard receiver. And he's number 13 in true value at pick 6. Little discrepancy there. Certainly not a A-tier athlete. But he's one of the best, most solid, reliable receivers in the class. And he's going to be our wide receiver 1. It's going to cost us a 5 this year, a 4 next year to move up 2 spots to leapfrog the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this pick makes also a lot of sense for the Browns. Our offensive line is not in a great long-term spot. So we need a tackle anyways. DeJuan Jones just can't be our tackle. So we are going to go out and grab the versatile Kadyn Proctor. I think Browns are going to be all in on Kadyn Proctor. The fact is, might have the highest ceiling out of any player on the offensive side of the ball in this year's class. Can he hit that ceiling is the most important part. And I think for that affordable trade up, I can live with it. He's going to start at left tackle for us. Big-time athlete, 6'6", 360. We just got to develop him. Got to coach him up. And I got a plan here. Depending on how the rest of this first round goes, we might not be done with an aggressive move. We have a couple spots in the second round able to make a trade with the Jets. Here's why. We got to use them at some point. I've yet to utilize them in a rebuild, and the only rebuild that makes sense, the only rebuild that I am not moved with any plan with the current quarterback room, because obviously Deshaun Watson, that could be the reality for the Browns for this upcoming season. You could get your hopes for Deshaun Watson up. I'm not doing that in a rebuild. Dylan Gabriel, no, nothing burger there. Haven't, had in my notes, maybe a Dylan Gabriel rebuild question mark. And we've already done Shedeur Sanders. I wish Shedeur Sanders well. I think that'd be a fun scenario for him to get just a crack at it, to be their quarterback next season, and it pans out and he ends up being the quarterback of the future. I think that would be sick. Make the Browns maybe a little exciting. Bring a little media attention. You know what I'm saying? Could be cool there. But I've already done a Shedeur Sanders rebuild. I imagine if I just made this rebuild a Shedeur Sanders rebuild, there'd just be a lot of similarities again. So to do something different with a quarterback that is going to go probably in the first round, I said, in my mind, this wasn't a play. I didn't have this written down as like this going to be, put Ty Simpson in the thumbnail, start getting some good pictures. Sometimes he does go in the first round. I thought like if I had to trade back up into the first round, maybe to get that 5th-year option, which would have been nice, but I just didn't have the draft capital to do that. if he goes to the first round, all right, scrap that idea. But if he falls in the second round, well, we might not get that fifth-year option. We certainly are going to get one of the biggest names after Fernando Mendoza when you're talking about quarterbacks in the 2026 NFL draft class. I think the sad part is he's probably not going to stand out too much from our current quarterback room. But if he does a dev trade, all it's going to take is a dev trade. Looking pretty good. Got the custom-made face scan. Another thing, how is this Browns really going to work is, like, we're taking Todd Monken's playbook, right? So that's going to be the Ravens. Like, are all of our quarterbacks going to try to play like Lamar Jackson? Anyways, 155 in true value at 33. And there's no dev trade here? Well, we're going to try and find maybe a JOK replacement and get him in Jayshon Barham from Michigan. 94 in true value, pick 70. Big-time athlete at linebacker. Ooh, got a good value right here, though. Josh Moten, the corner out of Southern Miss. Dev trade. Alrighty. There's value. There's a steal. We needed a corner 3. So take a look at our draft recap. I think if you're a Browns fan, you could probably sleep on this class. Wouldn't be the end of the world. Got some nice depth there. Domani Jackson, Tanner Kuzil, Josh Moten in the 5th round, 68 with a dev trade. He's going to be our corner 3. Barham, 68, has a chance to see the field probably in base sets as our starting Sam, and then long term, for sure, there's capabilities. I thought there's going to be a dev trade on Simpson, to be honest with you, fellas. Because now he's pretty, from a talent and development standpoint, not a huge discrepancy difference between him and Shedeur Sanders. Outside of just name value, and he's something a little different. Kadyn Proctor was a slam dunk, 71. We're going to take him, and we will move him full-time at left tackle. And then first round, Carnell Tate, 75 dev trade, pick 6. Long-term wide receiver 1. I mean, we have everything in place. It's just, how's Ty Simpson going to operate within this Todd Monken offense? All right, so year 1, Cleveland Browns. Kadyn Proctor, the rookie left tackle. Carnell Tate, starter at wide receiver. And we are going to go with Ty Simpson, who did go up 2 points from training camp. Gold medal in the training drill there, up to a 69. Very nice. 23 years old. Again, from a skill set standpoint. Could do worse. You could do better, but you certainly could do worse. Our goal right now is with him starting as a rookie. And with having, again, a good run game. Our offensive line should be competent. Especially if like Carnell Tate, Jerry Jeudy, and Harold Fannin can ascend, can take that next step. They don't have to be all pros. Just be decent. I think we're going to put Simpson in a great spot to challenge for Offensive Rookie of the Year, at least in the AFC, which would give us our dev trade. We need a dev trade. That is goal, objective, really the whole year. I'd be pissed if we made the playoffs and we're one another playoffs and Simpson's still a normal dev. Our main priority with this new Todd Monken Browns offense is to get Ty Simpson off his normal dev trade. Defense, it's going to be, we're going to have Moten there. Play at that corner 3, but everything else is our existing defense. Hopefully they still play at a elite level with no more Jim Schwartz. They botched that. How do you get rid of them? And as we always like to do when we debut a brand new quarterback, let's see their NFL debut. We get a great favorable matchup on the road against the New York Jets. I think a great opportunity for Ty Simpson and the Browns here to start this season out with a win. All right, let's go, Mr. Todd. I have no idea what to expect. Like, if Ty Simpson has, 100 yards rushing or something like that every single game. I don't know. They told us. Madden is not about playbooks as much. So you'd like to think with no Lamar Jackson, this is going to be a different setup here. So here we go. Opening drive. Browns have got themselves into the red zone. That's where I'd love to maybe get this to Fannin. Go back into Fannin, at least move the chains. 55 yards to passing on this opening drive from Ty Simpson. And we don't really want to finish his first career drive with a rushing touchdown. I think another good high percentage throw here to Fannin. Could look Carnell Tate. Took a little long, but we will go to Harold Fannin Jr., who's going to be the new tight end 1 there in Cleveland with no more David Njoku. Browns score on the opening drive. Feeling pretty good about that. We have another red zone appearance. And again, because I have no idea how this offense is actually going to play, I might have to take advantage of us being on the sticks here for this first game and get him out to a great start. Again, another just high percentage throw to Harold Fannin Jr. And he falls in. Great yards after catch. Looks like a running back with the ball in his hands. There we go. The Jets finally equalize. And our so very good defense bails on us having a halftime lead there. They just say, we're all right. We're going to go ahead and not go in with a lead. So here we go. Let's go back to this play, man. This play is a money play. Ooh, Jerry Jeudy wins. Oh! Minkah Fitzpatrick almost comes across, picks that shit off. Ooh, baby, third down. This perfect garbage time right here. Let's get another score. Let's send Carnell Tate team. We definitely all got to watch for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Come on. Use every bit of that 88 throw power. We go deep. Let's go! The rookies connect. Ty Simpson with a dagger to Carnell Tate. And that should be enough for the Cleveland Browns to go on the road to usher in this brand new era and leave with a victory, 29-14. Ty Simpson, welcome to the NFL. Hat trick. Probably should have had a pick there. Minkah didn't drop it. But 17-25, 254, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Also had a rushing touchdown. Now, yeah, look, I'm 11 rushing attempts. I'm a little concerned. 88 yards, touchdown. Carnell Tate, 71, 2 touchdowns. Harold Fannin defensively. Mason Graham, sack and a half. Dang, Myles Garrett getting nothing. That's, interesting. But this was all about Ty Simpson, and he stole the show. Enough that in his NFL debut gets AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors. 4 touchdowns. All right, so roughly about mid-season, I don't have a true read. Like, I literally looked at, like, the quarterback rushing numbers. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting, like, literally, he's going to play like Lamar Jackson this year, which is the first thing we got to figure out, because obviously that's not going to be sustainable. Our run game's elite. Our defense is pretty solid. 3-3. Just got beat Houston. That's a solid win. Looking at contracts from a salary cap standpoint, we have well over $100 million. Let's get Grant Delpit here, lock him in for the rest of the rebuild. Excellent. Ronnie Hickman, I think there's value in keeping him as our free safety. There's a reason why he's one of the top free safeties every time he hits free agency. So I think we'll come back to the table there. And I would say outside of that, it's going to be very nice to have Deshaun Watson off the books. Yeah, we'll bring back Hickman and everybody else. Frig off. Alrighty, so at the end of year number 1, lot to digest here. We go 7-10, maybe a better record than you would expect. We lost 2 in a row. So this is a team that was flirting with being above 500 this season. You look at our ratings, top 10 rushing offense. The defense is still elite. However, the passing game, is that the fact that we went with, the current stage, the floor of Ty Simpson, who was like a 70 rated, to be generous, starting quarterback. How good should an offense be with that and limited skill position players? Should it be, I don't know. We got to digest it, because the worst thing we could have here, it's not a brutal year. We'll round that up, 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's not really, almost 100 rushing attempts is not great. Let's compare that to, he has more than Mahomes. He's right in there with Daniel Jones. Looking at what the Ravens and Lamar did, he ran it more than Lamar Jackson. So, we might have, schematically, we probably are going to have to change. I knew that was going to be, that's the nature of the beast with this offensive scheme. So, we'll likely have to pivot at some point. Maybe I'll look through the rest of the Browns coaching staff and see, can we find a middle ground here? Because, just in the context of Madden, they're going to have to do something. I can't see, Madden 27 dropping and the Browns just playing and operating with the Lamar Jackson playbook. So, I mean, that's kind of good in a way that, like, all right, the passing numbers aren't brutal, and we could not have a worse scheme for 99% of the quarterbacks that exist in the world. Judkins crushed it, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. Happy with that. 6 touchdowns there. Dylan Sampson did not have a 1,000-yard receiver. Carnell Tate, 877 and 11. Helps that he, that's probably going to take him out of contention. Competing for Offensive Rookie of the Year. We want that award to go to Ty Simpson. Fannin, that's a good year. That's a really good year for a tight end. 850 yards, 8 touchdowns. I like that. Jerry Jeudy, not so much. Defensively, Schweisinger was a tackle machine. Our sacks are dogs. 5 sacks for Myles Garrett. At least the INTs, I guess. Look, now it's gonna be. We're calling an audible here. These playbooks are fucking garbage. I'm not dealing with this. All right, so we're going to run the Falcons. I mean, they do get a little bit better pass rush. The Falcons is the actual defensive coordinator. So we're going to run Atlanta's multiple 3-4 scheme, which is fine. Offensively, I can't. They just have so much Baltimore on their offense. I don't know if I can fix this. So the only coach on the roster in offensive capacity that has something that I can make something out of is Deuce Staley being the running backs coach. Spent times in Detroit and in Philadelphia, so we're gonna explore that way. So internally, after 1 year of Todd Monken at the helm, I'm gonna say, okay, Todd, you have great leadership capabilities. You can remain in charge, but our new offensive, I'm promoting to your offensive coordinator, we are going to go with Deuce Staley. And Deuce Staley is going to take, a little bit of Philadelphia with him. No, actually, he was in Detroit most recently. So, like, when he was in Philly, all those coaches have been gone. Dan Campbell taking what he learned last in Detroit before he went to Cleveland. That makes a little bit more sense. So that's the offense we're going to run. Deuce Staley, new OC here in Cleveland. Now to our team, back on the season that was, weren't even close. Ty Simpson, 5th in Offensive Rookie of the Year. Carnell Tate at 3. At least Mendoza at 6. We finished ahead of him. We did, however, set a new rookie single-season record for touchdown catches. Carnell Tate with 11. Of our team, as far as dev traits go, I thought actually there was a shot for Judkins to go up to superstar. That is not the case. Both Carnell Tate and Kadyn Proctor dev traits are star from Hidden Dev. But Harold Fannin Jr. goes from star up to a superstar, which I did think Fannin and Judkins were probably the two that I was hoping would roll dev trait, so that's pretty badass. I think it's also an incredible role that we did not have any regression on Myles Garrett. I'm going to say that's our mulligan, and we have to get him right going forward. Schweisinger goes from star up to a superstar. We also have, I think, was Denzel Ward wasn't an X Factor last year. No, so even though he regresses a little bit, this is acceleration, which is natural regression for a 30-year-old. It happens. He's now an X Factor. We have over $100 million of salary cap. We look at where we need to get better offensively. I think we could just keep running it with this offensive line as long as we can. It's not an issue. Wide receiver 3 would be an area I think we can go in and improve. Defensively, I would say edge rush, getting someone that could certainly take some pressure off of Myles Garrett. Maybe get a younger linebacker, as Williams has regressed quite a bit. He's down to a 76. So pass rush, slot wide receiver, inside linebacker, BPA. We could just use also the best talented player that we can bring in. Ooh, Zay Flowers. You think he liked Todd Monken? No interest whatsoever. So if I just hit him, even with like a player-friendly deal, where does that put us? Puts us into discussion. I think it makes sense to explore that because of the connection from their time with Baltimore. Outside of that, again, we're just looking BPA for the most part. Not much there, especially when you shift on to the defensive side of the ball. We're looking for another pass rusher on the other side of Myles Garrett. And the reality is, could we... I'm surprised Khalil Mack doesn't have the mentor tag, but Joey Bosa does. That's interesting. Just because I think pass rush is going to be where we go in the first round of this upcoming draft. And I was like, all right, we can get Khalil Mack. I mean, we could get Bosa. It's just there's already another bid. And there's nothing on Khalil Mack there. So I think we probably just go in the draft overall. Would have been nice to bring in Khalil Mack and have him just be an understudy. We have Jack Campbell at linebacker. Do we really want a $20 million linebacker on the books? That is the question. We have the money to at least see. Oh yeah, we're not even making the short list there. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through this, not a lot of players want to come to Cleveland. Shocking, I know. Yeah, we're just, again, we're just, we're Cleveland. It would have been nice to get these guys, but until we turn this ship around, it's going to be very, very difficult to want to, to attract talent here without significantly overpaying them. So that means we got to crush the draft. Oh, speaking of the draft, we are for fuck's sakes. Well, picking at 13 outside the top 10, John Henry Daly from Michigan. We do need to go pass rush. That is my big consideration, but it's just one of those years where it's like, okay, well, sure, we're going pass rush, but top 3 guys are going, we're picking through the scraps at that point. Uyunglele at 7, Dylan Stewart at 4, Colin Simmons at 2. Do I really want to try to trade up and get those guys? Kind of. Do I want to pay what it's going to cost to trade up to get those guys? No. So, really just, we won too many damn games, dude. There's no way to put it. That kind of screwed us here. There was just no way I could have traded up to get into the top 5. I was looking at Dylan Stewart with the Dolphins. I looked at what it would cost to trade up to 3 and 4, and with Jeremiah Smith, Dylan Stewart being the player. Multiple firsts, which, in a way, worth it. In another way, not worth it. If we stay put here, we have John Henry Daly, who is a first-rounder. A finesse, B power. Looks real good. I think he's good enough not to view him as a consolation prize. 36 and 2 value at 13. That's really the big gap and difference between him and the S tier, Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart. But I think to put him on the other side of Myles Garrett's still supposed to do heavy lifting. I think he's going to be a great complementary option and will develop into a good player. So I think next up in the second round, I would love to find a linebacker here. We have Drake Bowen from Notre Dame, A-zone coverage, and be a little bit limited athletically. We have Kip Lewis from Oklahoma. He actually looks kind of interesting, undersized. Wish he was a little bit better athlete. Still listed with elite speed and change of direction. The only other option that I'm kind of considering at this point is with Titus Howard regressing. We have a very, very nice tackle here in Xavier Chaplin, 6'8", 350. Do we just go out and rebuild the scariest offensive line known to man? I'm kind of thinking that might be the play here, especially in the second round to get a high ceiling tackle like this. It's a little bit better of a priority. 89-45. Welcome in. Actually, you know what? I think with Kip Lewis still on the clock, I will trade up. I'll trade essentially 2 3s to get back into the second round this year. We need that linebacker. Nick Harbour is there. It's another very interesting piece, but I think for me, Kip Lewis being a perfect scheme fit at linebacker and Quincy Williams regressing. 42 at number 50 in value. I think that's a good piece of business right there. So take a look at our draft recap. Every pick ends up going above a 70 rated. 74 dev trade on Daly, 70 dev trade on Chaplin, 73 dev trade on Kip Lewis, 72 normal on Tuioti, linebacker there from Oregon. So really adding a lot of depth there to the linebacker spot. We get Sandell, who, if you know, he's the kicker from Oklahoma. Great leg, but he was wearing like short shorts. He's 74, popped with the dev trade as well. So that's pretty badass. And then we had a punter because we had to redo our special teams. And we're going to get those guys locked in for the rest of the year. So really, really happy with this. Especially considering we couldn't trade up and get one of the premier pass rushers. And I'll tell you, in terms of a training camp, might not have got the offensive rookie of the year dev trait increase, prolific passing offense and stats and production we would have dreamed of. But I'm going to tell you, coming into training camp, Ty Simpson's like, I'm a gold medalist, and things are going to be better. They got Deuce Staley in my ear now. This offense is going to run better. So we go to year number 2. Very optimistic about the offense and the changes that we have been able to make, that it's going to be better for the team long-term, especially better for making a go of Ty Simpson as our quarterback 1. But, you have to admit, if come the end of this season, it's still not working out. We're not married to Ty Simpson. We're giving him a chance. I think it could be a snare. I think Cleveland could be a team that would look to target him if the value is right. And him slipping to the second round could be that right value. But if it's another bad year, we might have to think about secondary options. But I am optimistic that Deuce Staley can kind of help turn the offense around. Defensively, let's see if we can get Myles Garrett playing like Myles Garrett. We do have John Henry Daly on the other side. Kip Lewis is going to play a lot as a rookie, but 5 sacks a year for Myles Garrett literally doesn't even make sense. Let's hope we can get his mind right here this season. So, if the question is, of the 2 schematic changes, the defensive one is probably the one we should have made all along because we do have a Falcons defensive-based coordinator currently in Cleveland. Well, we got Myles Garrett's sack total from last year all in week 3. Yep. Now, this has been a year playing, a not great schedule. So we are 4-2, but we've beat up on teams, similar to the Dolphins. Not, I would imagine the backstretch of the schedule is going to be difficult and really going to see where this team is at. But 4-2 is 4-2 no matter what way you cut it. Looking at our contract, salary cap is in an outstanding place. And I kind of feel like if Denzel Ward wasn't leaving during the worst of times, now that we're on the ascension, I don't think he'd be bouncing from the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Jeudy. I think I'd rather play Mike Hall. If I'm looking at guys that are going to be relied upon, I think Hall is going to be a long-term starter with Mason Graham. I think, the guys on the offensive line, those are guys that we knew we had to replace at some point. If we let Jenkins and Jenkins go, we're going to have to find a new starting right guard and a new starting center. Not a lot of interest. Jenkins is going to continue to progress. Jerry Judy's an interest. I think if we could get Jeudy on a 2-year. But I'm going to get a, what's his interest? Not even anywhere close. Okay, so if Jeudy become a 3. If I'm thinking end game, say if we could find a big wide receiver in free agency like Zay Flowers. And then we have Carnell Tate, obviously. Hopefully, Carnell Tate, wide receiver 1. We get a wide receiver 2. And then Judy's that 3 that kind of hovers around. Even if he starts to regress, he'll be mid-80s, low 80s, somewhere in that range. I think that's fine. And it gives us cover in case we can't find that. So I think I'd be willing to bring back Jerry Jeudy. But there is a walk-away price, which is going to be, I'm going to do the classic 2 and 2. If he turns this down, we're going to be looking elsewhere. If he returns, gives us, I have no problem keeping him on the roster as a wide receiver 2 and hopefully a wide receiver 3 at some point. Holy shit, we made the play. I just said the last 3 weeks being this season's done for. We go 9-8 with, not terrible, middle of the mall and everything. Really good running the football. So it's not like we went to A-tier, S-tier playbooks. We're probably B-tier. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we just went Denver defense, Chiefs offense, Bengals offense. You know what I'm saying? We made realistic moves within the context of the roster. It's a realistic rebuild. And I feel like those ratings are fair for where our roster's at. We have a solid roster, but we firmly have probably still maybe a little light to be considered a legitimate playoff deep run contender. But we win the AFC North. Terrible AFC North. But we will take it. Myles Garrett leading the league in sacks a year after 5. Judkins crushed it, 3rd leading rusher. I love to see that. Ty Simpson was solid, just under 4,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. Would love to continue to improve that ratio a little bit. Judkins killed it. Ooh, 2,000-yard receivers. Jerry Jeudy is sneaking over. Fannin almost has double-digit touchdowns. Not bad. But Carnell Tate is emerging as a bona fide wide receiver, won the league at the end of his sophomore campaign. 93 catches, 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns. What a beast. Defensively, Schweisinger's a tackle machine. 19 sacks, Myles Garrett. The rookie, John Henry Daly. That should put him right up in the Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. 7 TFLs with 12 sacks, 8.5 from Mason Graham. And we got 3 picks. Denzel Ward leading the team with all those 13 PBUs for the ageless wonder. And there we go. John Henry Daly does win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I'm seeing Dylan Stewart at 3. Uyunglele at 5. Those are the guys that were shit, should I have traded 2 first-round picks to go get him? We stick with that guy. We stick with and trust, and that should yield, hopefully, a superstar pass rusher at the end of the season. Daly sets the rookie single-season record for sacks for the Browns. So if you ask me, I think we're playing with house money here. I did not expect the playoffs year 2. So I'd say generally we're a year early than what I would expect for success. So anything here is house money. If we lose, it's not the end of the world. If we win, Oh, it's going to feel pretty good. And we do go in with a lead, but it is 3-3 low-scoring game. Denver is a brutal... First touchdown of the game goes to the Browns. Denver's a very tough matchup, though. We have found out through our Broncos rebuilds that Denver has some of the best playbooks going in the game, but a go-ahead score, 240. Can the defense... We get the turnover! Schweisinger with a pick! That is an upset. That is a huge upset. The Cleveland Browns, Ty Simpson, Todd Monken in year 2. I don't know how far we're going to go, but that is a first playoff win. Oof. Ty Simpson, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Very much looked like a playoff debut. Luckily, the run game was incredible. 128 yards and a touchdown for Judkins. The veteran Judy doing what he needs to do. And Carson Schweisinger, give that man the game ball. We got a winnable matchup in the division round, and we're actually a higher rated team in every aspect over the Chargers. Now, schematically, the Chargers are a top 5 offense, top 10 defense. Advantage there. They have Justin Herbert. We do not. They are the home team. We are the road dogs. But we have the talent to keep this thing going. Get into the AFC Championship game. So let's see. And honestly, if this was a playoff game, I would imagine it would feel like a Browns home game. I think the Browns fans would travel the other side of the country and take over this stadium. But again, the Chargers, they're there. The Chargers are supposed to be, with Justin Herbert at this point in his career, competing and going on deep playoff runs. We are ahead of schedule. I have no shame. Everything is house money. We're keeping it close. We're keeping it competitive. Oh, it's already over. I'm going to come in to see if I can keep this drive alive real quick. Something easy. A slant. 4th and 4. Simpson. See, maybe we go to the veteran Jerry Jeudy. Maybe Judkins out the backfield. The fuck was that do? Yeah. We fought to the very end. We're ahead of schedule. It's all part of the process. As we close of the season, we had 2 upgrade points. And this is going to be very important because for John Henry Daly, not a power rush scheme fit. Originally was a speed rusher. So we are probably, 1 to 3 ratings short of where we need to be because we developed him as a scheme fit. But it's been well worth it as he ends his rookie campaign. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Overall Defensive Rookie of the Year. Superstar depth trade. As for the rest of the roster, we get both Carnell Tate and Quinshad Judkins up to a superstar, so that is awesome. We have Ty Simpson still cannot get a depth trade. Defensively, just Daly going up dev. That's fine. That's fine. Myles Garrett doesn't retire this time going into year 3, so that's a win. Now, for our team, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Mason Graham. We're going to get ahead of paying him quite a substantial extension. And looking at, I would like Jenkins. I would be perfectly fine bringing him back. So with our amount of salary cap, what if I hit him with like 9.2 and I'll go 10.8. 40 mil over 2 years. There we go. Don't have to worry about center. However, we're going to the offseason. We need a right guard. Doable. All right, you can find a right guard somewhere. Technically, if we want to complete the receiver room, that wide receiver 3 spot could be upgradable. I think that's probably more of a, if a value presents itself in the draft. Do we trade? Is there value to trade Shedeur Sanders? We also have Dylan Sampson. I kind of like the 1-2 punch here. Best because they're both on rookie deals. But like Shedeur, let's just see right now. I don't think. I feel like in store, like you'd love to be like a crazy trade, but like I don't think there's a whole lot of teams that be lining up to trade for Shedeur Sanders. What's Tampa saying? Will you give us a future 3? What if I give you Shedeur and like a 6 this year? All right. Best of luck. Cheering for you, pulling for you. So offensively, need a guard. Defensively, it's just like it's just higher ceilings. Can we get a higher ceiling? Delpit's 82. That's probably as good as you're going to get. Hickman's development's kind of slow. Tyson Campbell's development has been pretty slow. So I'd say like any of the DBs, if there's a big time swing that we could go get, maybe we need to consider that. Ooh, and as we go into free agency, it's the year Cooper DeJean's always there. First, we're going to look on the offensive line, or wide receiver. Ricky Pearsall, Troy Franklin. I mean, some solid players are available. Nothing that's screaming go, pay them. Guard, we have Dylan Parham, Mahogany, David J. Of course, the guy we let walk is the best guard on the board. Corner, Cooper. I mean, just again, like there's just so much. Very expensive. Terry and Arnold is probably better for this team long term than Tyson Campbell, but there's not a huge difference in where they're at. And like you're looking for like upside at safety, and it's just all guys that are pretty much as good as they're gonna get. Bullard, you know, I'll get no interest. If there was interest, maybe I can get him at a bargain. I think that could be kind of interesting, but I'm going to be conscientious with this salary cap, and maybe if free agency keeps being like this, we look at exploring the trade market, you know, going into the final years of this rebuild, because our salary cap's looking at a great spot. Take a look at the final mock draft. Currently, the Cleveland Browns are expected to go Jamarius Brown, D-tackle, Ole Miss, and I'm going to tell you right now, absolutely not. I might be willing to actually trade up for Brandon Baker a couple spots. If I got to trade up to 22 to get a scheme fit guard at the exact guard position I need, that's looking pretty good versus a D tackle, and I don't really know. I mean, Jagaurs is also a scheme fit, and we drafted him a couple rebuilds ago, and if you remember, I remember something about him. Maybe we won't trade up. So we are here looking for a guard. And rather than trading, we do actually, I still have Brandon Baker on the clock. Good discipline, BA, but if you know, you know. That's going to be the guy. I'm not going to look that gift horse. We're the fucking Browns. I need to do everything we can to win a Super Bowl. This is the hardest team to win a Super Bowl with. We get Charles Jagaurs, lineman from Notre Dame, 21 in true value, number 25. We used him. I can't remember what rebuild it was, but it was not too long ago. We'll just say he's a very special player, and he's going to be a day one starter for us at right guard. We're going to slide him across. So in terms of needs, I was like, all right, well, like maybe a safety with higher ceiling. And looking at the safeties we have available, we have Zechariah Poyser from Miami. Yeah, come on down. Come on down. Yep. We didn't have a crazy amount of picks here, but we sure as shit nailed the first two. Guarantee it. And honestly, I mean, Jagaurs is going to be a starter for us. But Poyser, I mean, we may have to get him on the field right away. Already just such a higher ceiling than Hickman, who has 2 years of starting. Perfect opportunity to get off that normal dev trait. And it's kind of now or never for his development. So I am going to move him to right guard, just so no one knows if there's any no shenanigans at foot. I mean, you'll remember him from a rebuild that we had not too long ago. Not like I'm not juicing the dev trade to unreal draft pick. Very happy he fell to us. All right, now we're in year 3. It would be cool to get Ty Simpson off his normal dev trade, but we've seen dev trade or not. You know, this is a guy that could take us in the playoffs and get us a playoff win. So maybe we don't need to chase the dev trade. Maybe we don't need to trace getting him to the highest possible rating. You know what I'm saying? It'd be more realistic of a Browns thing to just get a solid quarterback. Not get a bust, not get a generational quarterback because you're the Browns, but get just a good, solid quarterback that with a very good team around him, which is what we are slowly assembling. Not quite there yet, but literally, you know, Proctor, Jagaurs, Chaplin, Fannin, Tate, Judkins, Simpson, for whatever that's worth. All those players for every year left of this rebuild are only going to continue to get better. And we're already in 85. Like I definitely think this offense could peak into the 90s. You know, 90s. Defensively, it's just I would love to see Myles Garrett not retire at any point with Daly, Schweisinger, Lewis, Garrett. We did get, obviously, the rookie Poyser, who I think we'll start with Hickman, but we need to get Poyser more than just focus training. Like, he's one of our 3 focus trainings for the whole season. We got to pay Mason Graham this year, but he's playing at a high level. He's a good player. Secondary, you know, all these guys are scheme fits. We're locked in. This defense should be top 10. Love to see this offense push for top 10. And, most importantly, let's repeat as divisional champs and get back into the playoffs and go on a run. All right, off to a very hot start. 5-1 to start out year number 3. Look at our contracts. I mean, we've managed our salary cap very well. Not so much self-restraint, so much the free agency class has just been ass. So that at least puts us in a spot that like everybody that we want can stay, as long as they want to stay. So we get Judkins, we get Schweisinger, we got Harold Fannin coming up, we have Mason Graham that we want to pay. This is a lot of money, but I mean, we're still kind of barely sweating. I mean, we got like our big core on offense and defense signed. Not too far away on Harold Fannin. I mean, we're going to decline the 5th-year options on Tate and Proctor, so we need that money to pay them. And then, obviously, what he called steal is going to be next year. Ty Simpson, because he wasn't a first-round pick. There's the disadvantage of not getting the 5th-year option. And I think with his development right now, he's a prime candidate. If I had the option available, 5th-year option would have been claimed. So I think, like, the guys that, like, if I had it limited less, I feel like, yeah, I'm fine with Tyson Campbell being corner 2, maybe corner 3. I like the 1-2 punch of Simpson. We just don't really have, like, those little bits of chunks of change. Zion Johnson as well at guard. He's a starter, but, like, I could probably replace that in the draft. We'll re-sign Fannin and then go into next year with probably, you know, with the salary cap raising close to probably $90 million. Now, at the end of year number 3, we are able at 12-5. Impressive year, man. And as I stated, the biggest change for us is just everybody is an ascending player for the most part. Our team is now almost 90s. We're very close. Look at the ratings. Perfectly fine with that. Very good at running the football. One of the better defenses in the league. A second straight AFC North title. Now, last year the North was terrible. This year the North, record-wise, isn't crazy, but they sent 3 teams to the playoffs. It was competitive. Ty Simpson, holy shit, 5th in touchdowns. Yards aren't crazy. I think with how we run the football, we're probably never going to be well over a 4,000-yard passing team, but 35 touchdowns, 11 picks, you'll take that every day of the week. 1,300 yards for Judkins, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns for Tate, right in that area code for Judy, double-digit touchdowns, just thrash. Kind of came out of nowhere, very nice. A little bit of a whelming year from Fannin, maybe worried we're going to lose a superstar dev. That's, you know, a pretty rough season, all things considered. Defensively, Schweisinger continues to be a machine. Myles Garrett is now getting over there in age, so like not always trying to get the sack record. I'm fine with 13.5, 11.5 daily, 7.5 Graham. Yeah. INTs are fine. Poyser. So we looked at Jagusa, found out he was a superstar. Zachariah Poyser, one of the best DBs in college, fell to us in the 2nd round. Okay. If you're using these draft classes, superstar X Factor. Sweet. Now I did have to kind of reinvent the coaching staff a little bit. But Todd Monken gets Coach of the Year. Poyser gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. That was a gamble. Having him start at free safety over Ronnie Hickman, that panned out tenfold. I was curious about the records here. I actually missed that Carnell Tate last year broke the single-season receptions record for the Cleveland Browns all-time. But Ty Simpson this year, this is what I was thinking, with 35 all-time Browns touchdowns in a season through the air. Pretty badass. And I think, honestly, this year, that should be good enough to get them off normal dev. We started the wild card round. We got to run the gauntlet with the 9-8 Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the number 1 rush defense in the league, so that's a little tricky for how we like to play football, but we are the better team. Let's little boy, little bro, little sibling, little tyke, little guy them. Let's do it. There's a new big dog in the AFC North. It is no longer you, Pittsburgh, and we got a snowball. Great. Love it when there's just random things that affect our parts, but that is playoff football in Cleveland. It's not looking good. I mean, we're 3 points. Oh, there we go. Now it's not 3 points. It was 3 points till it's not. Defense. I mean, they played their asses off. Ooh. I mean, when it's 99 yards, can I just throw it straight to Carnell Tate? Clean ass pocket. Oh. I mean, can we draw a PI? Now, they do have Jalen Ramsey over there. We do have a kicker with a monster leg. I think he's like 97 kick power. So feels like I'm playing the Eddies. But luckily, that pass was so bad we're getting a sympathy PI call on Patrick Queen. So we're going to take the free 11 yards on that. Still need about 40 yards. Oh my God, hospital pass. We have no timeouts too, so we got to try to get like quick throws to the sideline. Maybe Harold Fannin on this one. All right, luckily to throw it a sack there by Watt. Oh, Jesus. See, now this is the downside. I do not have speed on my team. Tate's not a burner. Judy's not a burner. Fannin's not a burner. Come on, Jerry! I mean, if this wasn't a snow game, there's probably 2 picks we've thrown. We're trying our best, fellas. Oh. And of course, you just can't get your fucking ass out of bounds! Pussy! Oh, you suck, Jerry Judy. Once a loser, always a loser. That's why the Broncos didn't want you. Fuck! Very quickly, in case he does retire, 178 TFLs, 163 sacks. He's going to come back. He can't retire. Let's go. Literally, we got... Has anyone else seen Myles Garrett retire after 2 years? I literally have the notes right in front of me. I highlighted it, underlined it. Can't believe he retired. Well, cool. But we did not get the dev trade for Ty Simpson. You know what? Fuck it. At this point, I don't need it. Don't give me it. I'm going to win a Super Bowl. I'm going to find a way to win a Super Bowl with a whelming draft pick, a whelming thumbnail guy, which is exactly what we have in Simpson. I think Jenkins, another player, could have potentially retired, but we are going to go in the offseason. We need a guard. I think we'll find one in the draft. Good power offensive line, like those guys grow on trees. I do think another wide receiver. Maybe be aggressive in finding another receiver. Maybe that's something that could be a missing element to this team. We got to replace Tyson Campbell at corner. I think Moton, he's base 80 with a dev trait. Campbell's base 82. Not a big drop off there, but definitely are going to need a corner 3. Other than that, man, I think we're good. So, corner, guard, wide receiver. We can do this. What's $100 million salary cap? Corner guard, wide receiver. Corner guard, wide receiver. There's nothing there at wide receiver. And it has to be something that's like really, really tough because we need as much money as we possibly can going in next season. So there's nothing there at wide receiver. There's nothing at all at guard and at corner. Yep. Dog shit. Great. All right, so a little insight for what I have been looking for in this class. So for our needs, it does not look like a particularly great year to get a lineman. This one would be the best one, Norman Drayton, but he's a 3rd, 4th round pick. So that'd be a guy that we're not looking for him in the 1st round, but it'd be nice to leave with him. I'll tell you that right now. All things get powerhouse, upside. For corner, not like a super strong corner class. Like we want man defenders. So, I mean, you get double Bs here on Wheeler, but like these are top tier players. In terms of like finding value, I mean, there's not a whole lot. Like maybe this guy was probably the best. Amari Ellis, B-man, B-press, A catching, and he's... All right, so that's the corner we want. We have the ball. We want that corner. We want that guard right there, Norman Drayton. So then it came to the wide receivers, and I was like, all right, top-tier wide receivers. These guys look great, and not only do they look great, they scout great. Carl Hutton, A deep. We need speed. Literally said I need speed. Hutton, 4.32, disciplined player, not stupid, not always showboating. We also have A.J. Springs, A deep running, 4.3 speed. So, like, schematically, all 3 of these guys, McLean's going to be a little bit more expensive running the 4.24. If I can get one of these 3 receivers, that guard and that corner, we're going to win a Super Bowl. Those are the 3 positions. How often do you get the 3 positions you need? 3, I mean, the guard's fine. But that corner and one of those 3 wide receivers, at this point, now or never, 2 years of development, it is the perfect time. So looking at the final mock draft here, McLean is going 7, which is expected. Springs is going 10. And, I'm gonna be a realist here. I was always just assuming that we would have to be in play for like the final wide receiver. And he's not even going in the first round right now. I mean, we could call to see what it would cost to trade up, but like I think we're still in a pretty good spot here. You know, if McClain would be the one to trade up for. That's going to be very expensive to leapfrog the Eagles at pick 6. So I think we stay where we're at and we get those 3 guys. And sure, we get those 3 guys. First up at pick 24, we're going to go Carl Hutton. Big time wide receiver, 16 in true value. Pick 24 brings the speed that we so desperately were missing in that playoff loss. I'm going to overpay to get back in and get a second round pick. I think with our second round pick, we can get one of the 2 targets, but I want to ensure we clear the board here. I had 2/3 this year. If I get my 3 guys, which I'm going to right now, I don't care. I don't need those 2/3. I got my guys. Drayton at guard, 40 in true value, at number 37, right on the money. He'll be a day 1 starter, perfect scheme fit. Then we're going to overdraft, absolute gift horse. We need a nickel. Moton can play on the outside. Denzel Ward plays on the outside. Perfect. 5'10", 204. Perfect scheme fit. Elite playmaker. Amari Ellis. Day 1 starter. Perfect draft. S-tier draft. Look at the haul. Hutton 76 with the depth trade. Drayton 74 with the depth trade. Ellis 69, but that's fine. We know what the ceiling's going to be there. He should be able to hit the ground running. Now, just out of pure curiosity's sake, actually, I'll be honest, Drayton's higher rated than I thought he was going to be. What are the other wide receivers? More so, what's the Eagles guy? The guy, assuming Philly went him, they're both the same. Okay, I thought he might have had a chance to be like 80. And like that's where we're getting up. Obviously, he's a little bit faster. That's a great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm very happy with what we did. In terms of like overall, the draft class, bell of the ball goes to the Ravens within our division, getting a hell of a successor for Mark Andrews. Carlos Gutierrez, Florida Gators. Jesus Christ. 80 rated. So if there's a chance this guy's an X Factor. Fuck me. All right, generational tight end going to the Ravens. I'll tell you right now. You know who's not really that upset about losing out on a depth trade? One of the highest rated scorers we've ever got in the QB drill. Ty Simpson is motivated here going into year 4. Year 4, we just had a 10 out of 10 draft, needing 3 spots and getting those exact 3 spots. I have a new starting left guard, a speedster at wide receiver, and an all-time nickel, who I think is going to be very special, especially for a guy that was supposed to go day 3 of the draft. Poiser X Factor, Myles Garrett X Factor. Stings a little bit. We lost the X Factor on Denzel Ward. I'm still confident he's going to play at a high level. Let's make it 3 straight divisional championships and going on 1 more playoff run. We're coming as soon as we possibly can because our contract period here is going to be crazy. We are 1-1, 2 NFC opponents, so not the end of the world. We do have a Denzel Ward. I knew he wasn't really going to be regressing that bad. I didn't buy it 1 second. Defensive player of the week. But we have $164 million. We have to pay a lot of people. Carnell Tate locked in $166 million. Kadyn Proctor locked in 90.5, probably 91. Gets that one across the line. Josh Moton we'd like to keep. That's a pretty reasonable lump number there, but it's Ty Simpson. Ooh. I mean, under 200, we've got to commit to him for the rebuild. We've had some playoff success. He's come out the best year of his career. That's a reasonable number. I think we also bring back Denzel Ward on a 1-year, see if he can go the full rebuild. Elton Jenkins will be the one that, he probably retires anyways, but at worst, it shouldn't be too difficult to draft a center. Man. We were 11-3. We lost the final 3 games of this, and terribly. 17-9 to Pittsburgh, 10-3 to the Bills. Both Pittsburgh and Buffalo playoff contenders. I don't know if we would have caught Buffalo. That was always going to be a tough one, but we were looking like 1 seed. Lost 3 in a row. Number 1 defense in the league. Feel pretty good about that. Offense was solid, but we lose our streak of winning the division, and we go into the playoffs incredibly flat. Ty Simpson doesn't even go over 30 touchdowns. Did go over 4,000 yards for the first time in his career. Run game was solid. Judkins has been very consistent. We did get 2,000-yard receivers here in Judy and Tate. Hutton, the rookie superstar wide receiver, pretty solid as well. Defensively, Schweizinger did what he needed to do. 14 sacks apiece for Garrett and Daly. And the INTs continue to be whelming, to say the least. It's just nothing. I think I nothing for a 91 across the board. No award winners. Lose 3 in a row going to the playoffs. Vibes are not high. But the one thing that is consistent in Madden 26 is in the sim. Be it regular sim, play the moment sim, slow sim. Defense is what wins. Now, Buffalo is very good offensively. This is a tough as shit first round matchup. Josh Allen, 43 touchdowns as well. But we have the best defense. Anything can happen. There's no fucking way I wasn't recording that. Oh my fucking God. I'm not redoing it. I'm not redoing it. Oh, God damn it. Fuck. Ty Simpson. Outduels Josh Allen, and it was a blizzard. Oh my God, this is so lame. How was I not recording? I literally... Yep. Couldn't get the run game going. Carnell Tate went off. Look, all the receivers got in there. Defensively, Swessinger was all over the place. 2 sacks, Mason Graham. A sack from Myles Garrett. We won. Like, I'm in the game. It wasn't like I force-simmed it or anything. I just can't believe I didn't fuck it. That's unbelievable. That's like one of the best win of this whole rebuild. Well, we're moving on. 2 years ago, we lost in the division round of the Chargers. Get to avenge that. They are winning a lot of games up there in LA. 13-4, the number 2 offense. We don't have to worry about I mean, again, you guys didn't see it. It was a snow game. So that's obviously not going to be in play here. But, come on, man. The Chargers suck. Let's go beat them. Social media quarterback. And with Ty Simpson just a week removed from dominating. Josh Allen going toe-to-toe and actually getting the better of him. I love him throwing a pick on his opening drive and the Chargers punishing us right away. But look, it's all about how you respond. And we got a touchdown. Tying this thing up at 7. But we need our number 1 defense to, you know, let's hold these guys under 20. Give our guys time to figure it out. Ooh, we're coming on this 4th down. I have read. I've got into it. Tinfoil hat there. I've always known that, like, this sim is a different experience than, like, regular sim. And, like, basically someone told me it's programmed to, like, generate moments. You know what I'm saying? Because it's play the moments. It needs to generate the moments. It's not necessarily the most organic experience because it's trying to... But then, I mean, there's only so much I can do. We get to the fucking red zone, no points, turnovers. But that makes sense, right? And, I mean, there you go. We should have won that game. I came in, continued the drive, we got to the red zone, turned it over. Lose by 5. This felt like the whole time it was going year 5 Super Bowl or bust. We have been on a little bit of a hot streak where we've won more than we've lost. But I think with that draft that we just had, where I got 3 for 3, we might need to be working the trade. But there's I don't know what I need. What do we need? If I got to work the trade lines here to minimize our roster, to minimize how much money we can spend, you know, you look at this like our run game, that's dog shit. But like Judkins is one of the best running backs in the game. I can't improve it there. We got 3 deep at wide receiver. We have a great tight end. We have one of the best offensive lines in the AFC. Need a center. Defensively, you know, the pass rush, it'd be nice if they showed up a little bit in this game. But it's like, I'm not going to upgrade. Graham's one of the best D-tackle. Like, our pass rush, in terms of, like, there's no real area. Maybe that Michael Hall as D-tackle, too, could get upgraded on. I don't know. If there's a move to be made, I will make it. Because I am desperate, but I'm not too sure what that is. Now, we did lose to the eventual champions. Still don't, you know, we highlight this. It does happen from time to time. Don't know really the true read on that. I'll take it as, you know, no one was beating the Chargers this year. It was their turn. And next year it needs to be our turn with Cleveland. From a dev trade standpoint, we have no dev trades up. We lose the superstar Harold Fannin. Really weird, man. He was good. He looked like he was going to be a guy that's going to get like 700 yards, 800 yards, flirt with double-digit touchdowns this whole rebuild. And he's kind of fallen off a little bit, which kind of stinks. But offensively, you know, we're going to be losing Jenkins, so I need a center. I think I can draft a center. I'm not going to be making a blockbuster trade for a center. You know, it's... you know, I'd say Hall's just not really giving us crazy production. So if I could go get another insane defensive tackle, that could be of note, there's a chance when we get into this offseason that Myles Garrett and or Denzel Ward, they're at that age. They could retire, and then we'd be desperate and have to make a desperation trade, not a put this team over the line trade. Hopefully that does not happen, but I guess quickly, in case it does, to reflect on the career that was for both those guys defensively. Denzel Ward, 700 tackles, 28 picks, 137 PBUs. We have Myles Garrett here with 190 TFLs. And, you'd imagine if he could come back for 1 year, it didn't have that random waste of a year where he only got 5 sacks, might be pushing the all-time record for 200. Phenomenal! That's what's going to get us over the hump. No Myles Garrett. At least he didn't retire after year 3. We got an extra 2 seasons out of him, but now it's desperation mode. I think maybe we look at, fingers crossed, like sometimes Brian Burns is out there for a free agent. He could be a nice, we're not going to probably be able to trade for anyone better than that. But that is certainly a problem I would rather not have had to deal with going into year 5 Super Bowl or bust. All right, so in terms of free agents that you could all right, needle mover. Kalusha carries a 90 X factor, stealing away from Buffalo. I mean, there's just no interest there because we're the goddamn Browns. Offensively, looking for a center. Elton Jenkins is the best center available. That's just an absolute bummer. Yeah. Pass rush. What do we got? Ruben. Whoa! Okay. I'm in not only to pay him this, and I think we could still make a trade if we can get. I'm going to overpay though. I'm going to go 25 because he has no interest. I'm going to go honestly 25 and 25. Give this guy. Come on. You need to be our successor here, sir. Let's go. $46 million bucks. Again, I think it's just better to draft a center. Is Khalil Shakir still there? Like the only thing I'm just thinking is having an X factor. Is that a missing piece? Because we can, let's make a trade. Fuck that. All right, looking at the bad teams. I'm gonna write them down. Commanders, Lions, Saints, Cowboys, Texans, Vikings, Patriots, Cardinals. Let's go look at these scrap heaps and see if there's anything that makes sense. Look at the Cardinals roster. Yeah, Trey McBride's probably the only needle mover. Walter Nolan's there as well. Don't really get any better looking at the Commanders. Yikes. Now the Cowboy, CeeDee's still an X factor. They also have Jermod McCoy, superstar corner. Detroit, again, now CeeDee's the top chase card, if you will, here. Nah. Gonzalez. Saints have Jeremiah Love, but we're not a running back away. Judkins is more than fine. Will Anderson's a 99 X factor. Unfortunately, Vikings playbook just sucks, so Justin Jefferson has just been regressing nonstop. So, in terms of big fish, CeeDee Lamb, Christian Gonzalez, Will Anderson, Aiden Hutchinson. Those would be the 4. Now, what are the state of these teams' salary caps? Can they even trade these guys? Okay, so the Cowboys could trade CeeDee Lamb. We can make something happen there potentially. Same with the Lions and Hutchinson. But we just got Ruben Bain. And Henry Daly had 14 sacks last year. Pass rush is not our problem. I think it's either CeeDee Lamb or Christian Gonzalez. What do we need more of? And I'm going to say the tiebreaker here. Because look at our secondary. Our secondary, Delpit, 81 star, fine. X Factor and Poyser. 86, Denzel Ward. Moton's an 81. Ellis is an 80 superstar. So, our secondary across the board is good. Not elite, though. Don't have that game changer at corner anymore that Denzel Ward's regressed. And then the other argument would be at wide receiver, like, is that what we're missing to elevate to Simpson? Like, is Simpson going to be better? I think CeeDee Lamb has a better chance of making more people around him better than Gonzalez, and a really good wide receiver can kind of change the outlook there a little bit. But also, I think tiebreaker is that this is a Ty Simpson rebuild, offensive focused. We go see what CeeDee Lamb's going to cost us. Because I think logistically, too, Patriots are still good. They just had a down year. I don't think they're going to fire sale, especially with Drake May. But the Cowboys, on the other hand, two expensive receivers in Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. No playoff success. I think Lamb could be on the way. Let's go do that. Maybe we can even throw Jerry Jeudy in. All right, their salary cap sucks. I can't throw in Jerry Jeudy, unfortunately. So, what does a 1 do in terms of... Yeah, it's not bad. What does a 1 and a 3 this year do? Can I do like a 1, 3, and a 2? 1, 2, 3 for CeeDee Lamb. We're pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 3. Don't really want to trade 2 firsts on the principle of the matter. Can I throw in like a player, like a who could season this a little bit? Look at this. I got Snell, 72 dev trait wide receiver. There we go. There's our Hail Mary. We get Ruben Bain in free agency. Surprising that he hit the market. He's going to come over. No pressure at all. You just got to replace Myles Garrett. And then to find the missing piece, the needle mover, can it be 94 X Factor CeeDee Lamb? So let's go through the draft. We had no premier picks. The bummer is no setters. Couldn't really find a center. So we're going to have to hit the scrap heap of free agency and see what's available at center. But it's not the end of the world. It's literally, and almost statistically proven, the least important position in the sim. Hell yeah, look at that. We'll just get a 75 scheme fit off the street. Robert Hainsey, come on down. Here we go, your 5 Super Bowl bust. This team is ready to bust for a Super Bowl, if you know what I mean. The addition of CeeDee Lamb, I think, should be enough to, like, get the kick in the ass to make this team, like, borderline super team. Like, there is no weakness. One of the best offensive lines in the league, and they're all going to get better. Every single player on this offensive side of the ball, less CeeDee Lamb and Hainsey, is going to be probably a point or two better come the end of the season. Defensively, yes, incredibly difficult to try to replace Myles Garrett. Getting Ruben Bain, 87 dev trade off the street. You're not going to find much better than that. Our secondary's on point. We just saw, you saw the results. Simpson outdueled Josh Allen in the playoffs. We find consistent. This team has all the potential to legitimately win a Super Bowl. There's sometimes I'm in year 5, I'm like, guys, there's no chance. There's absolutely a chance. But then year 5 would have loved a first round bye. So we don't have to run the gauntlet. Just eliminates, the fuckery, if you will. But I feel real good about the team that we have built here. 92 offense, top 10 passing, top 5 rushing, top 10 defense, and then top 10 with a year removed losing Myles Garrett. We win the AFC North for the 3rd time in 5 years. So that is a lot of success, regardless of postseason. Ty Simpson, though, remember that year he went for 35 touchdowns? That was cool. But, one of those rebuilds, man, where you're not going to have a superstar quarterback. You got to find other ways to win, which is possible. Judkins has been incredible, very consistent throughout, 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, worth the trade, I think. Did come at the expense of, no one else having a good year, but fine. That's what happens. Took a big swing there. 3 people going over 100 tackles, 17.5 sacks, John Henry Daly. So he stepped up. 7.5 Mason Graham, Kip Lewis. What the fuck, Ruben Bain? I see why you were not re-signed after being drafted. And then our INTs have been terrible in this rebuild. Definitely something that I think needs to be scaled better in the sim. I think sim INTs across the board are just unrealistically low. You don't want to make it overpowered. You don't want to have, multiple guys having 5+ INTs. But I think there could be a little tuning done there. That'd be cool, game. Another year, man, we haven't had a lot of star talent. Not one award winner the last 2 years. I mean, that's just kind of what happens when your schemes kind of suck. Looking at our career stats, what these players have been able to accomplish in our rebuild, just under 19,000 yards passing for Simpson, 142 touchdowns, 55 picks. He's been a solid quarterback. He's been probably the best case scenario of what he's going to be in real life, which is a solid Kirk Cousins level starter, plus starter, can win a bunch of play. Could potentially win a Super Bowl type starter, but not a guy that necessarily elevates the team around him. Judkins has been very, very good. 7,500 yards, 61 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, 8,500 yards, 44 touchdowns. Carnell Tate, that was a great pick. 5,300 yards, 54 touchdowns in 5 years, giving us an average of, 1,010. Fannin was solid, even though he slowed down a little bit. Defensively, Grant Delpit, just under 1,000 tackles. We got 55 sacks. John Henry Daly pairing him with Myles Garrett. Chef's kiss. I think we probably could have got a little more out of Mason Graham. Definitely did, that production at this point in time. And he needs to be more than a guy that makes others around him better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to be a game wrecker. He can't just be a guy that eats double teams up. Whelming, to say the least. INT numbers sucked, but, inheriting some pretty good production. 29 picks, Denzel Ward. 14, Schlesinger. 13 for Grant Delpit. So we got to run the gauntlet here. Year 5 Super Bowl blast. At least we're at home for the wild card round against the 10-7 Dolphins, who are, actually pretty damn good. They signed Khalil Shakir in free agency. Who's their quarterback? Just out of curiosity, do they, still have Willis? Bo Nix. It's kind of like one of those, who the hell do the Broncos have? JKS, okay. I'm against year 5. This is wildcard round. I'm going to run the gauntlet. This is usually at least the one game of this entire playoff run that if, things get a little weird, give our team a kick in the ass. No one's really going to fault me for it. We've been here for an hour. Let's at least help this team, endure a little bit of dog shit and see if we can go on a run. But not playing inspiring football whatsoever. But we're able to tie it up. Let's come in here. We'll help them get across the line here. Set up a game-winning. And I also say that I am just coming in and throwing dots. I think 2 times I have hopped in, bad things have happened. So I'm far from an automatic. Come back to the football. There we go, Harold Fannin. Great job on the offensive line. That is why you pay and have the offensive line that we do have. The clock is a burden. It's fine. We get a great kicker. We can get into field goal range. We're going to float it right there to Mr. CeeDee Lamb. He's going to go up the field. He's going to get out of bounds. I don't know if he for sure get out of bounds, so I'm going to burn a timeout there. Let's go slants. And maybe we get out of the cheese here by letting the CPU make the field goal. If we can't get a touchdown here. No turnovers. Looking at Carnell Tate. The patience is there. Able to make the grab. And I go for the hit stick. He fights through it. That should be enough. The Cleveland Browns with an absolute backpack from me. But the Sim team tied that up. Just put me in a position to kind of just push him over the line. We're in the divisional round. Just going through Florida. Very winnable game. 9-8, Jacksonville Jaguars team. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. How the sausage is made, not overly impressive from a yard standpoint on either side of the ball. And we're a significantly better team in every area, as well as I'd like to say schematically. Come on, this team at minimum got to make a championship. We're at home. We're settling for field goals, but we've been playing in Jags territory. I've had a couple good drives. Can't buy a touchdown. Jacksonville's top 10 defense doing their job. Oh, my God. Went ugly. I don't care. First touchdown of the game does go to the good guys. Come on, boys. Yes. All right, thank God we didn't really have to watch any more of that game. 13-6. We didn't lose. That's all that really matters. Ooh, we get a rematch of the game you guys didn't get to see. Last year's wildcard round, we won a shootout against the Buffalo Bills. Now, this time we're at their backyard, which is where we were last year. But they're going to have a massive chip on their shoulder. Josh Allen, not as good. He's regressing. He's down to a 93, but look at the green ratings. They're a very, very good team. So look at the bracket there. The 1 seed, just edging by the Colts. Not an overly dominating performance. Look at the other side of the bracket. Wow, the Panthers are the 1 seed. Huh. Yep. Let's bring them down. Let's bring the pain. On the road, Highmark Stadium. Didn't it used to have a name? Doesn't that stadium have a nickname? Look at that interception. Josh Moten, 40 picks. or 40-yard pick, sorry, on Josh Allen. That was a huge momentum swing. We punished them. They're able to get something, though, before halftime. Very low-scoring game, but we have proven that we can win low-scoring games with that quick score. But it is, yeah, it's feeling like one of those ones. Anything we do, they do. And that's when they kind of... We have one guy. I literally drafted a guy. You know? Do we go four verts? No, whatever. Don't need another 5 yards. I don't think overthink it. I think we gotta hit him with 4 verts. And trust that our one-speed guy will get open. Hutton. At B. 4-3 speed. Drafted him for this moment. Oh, he dropped it, though! Fuck, man. Ty Simpson used every bit of that 88 throw power. And he had a chance. I mean, fuck. What do you mean? Barely, you didn't even get 150 passing yards. Don't gotta look much further than that. Offense did not show up on the road here today. Well, now just puts pressure. We have one rebuild left. Clint Kubiak, new head coach of the Vegas Raiders. We got to do a Vegas Raider rebuild. And to put a cap on this stage of the rebuilds in the Madden cycle, because obviously we do revisit once the draft has happened, and we're essentially on Madden 27 rosters. We can't finish with 2 straight L's. I mean, we tried. We literally maximized our... I think, I think Myles Garrett retiring, there's just no way to replace him. So, I don't know if there's a scenario where he plays a full 5 years in a 5-year rebuild context. Like, if we still had Myles Garrett and we didn't get Ruben Bain, I would have been able to make 2 trades or something like that. And then, I don't know. Not 100% sure. Do you stay with Shador? Do you not go Ty Simpson? I mean, we didn't trade a whole lot to get Ty Simpson. It wasn't like it altered the entire franchise. We got him in the 2nd round. You're not gonna complain. If this is just real life and you're like, I'm gonna rebuild the Browns. So you got a Ty Simpson, 88, 27-year-old quarterback. Like, you feel optimistic, you win something there. So I don't know. This is just one of those rebuilds, man, where I think schematically the scheme kind of sucks, and our team's not a super team. So, like, if you don't meet those 2 criteria, you're probably not gonna have a good time unless you get lucky, and we could not get lucky here today. But looking back at my notes, our first Cleveland Browns rebuild, we did win a Super Bowl in actually year 3, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Who the fuck did we draft? We had Dante Moore in that one. And obviously Dante Moore, different species of quarterback prospect than Ty Simpson. But at least one of our 2 Browns rebuilds that we've done this year yielded in a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, this one was not. So, thank you guys very much for watching. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Leave a comment for the algo. Very much appreciate it. We have one more realistic rebuild left with the Vegas Raiders. Got a really busy weekend. I want to try to... I got content we got to get done this week. I'm going to have Yetis out tomorrow so that we're going to have an off-season Super Bowl whatever type stream on... I'm thinking Saturday night. I'd rather Saturday than Sunday, but it'll be one of these nights this weekend. And, yeah. Raiders rebuild very soon. That'll be the next rebuild we do. And that will be it for me here today. Thank you guys very much for watching. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.